Discover the incredible life-changing turn as a billionaire's bet uncovers an amazing love with a small-town single mother. Emily awoke to the sound of her children giggling as they played in the yard, the sun's rays streaming through the window. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her responsibilities, but a flicker of determination ignited in her chest. Every day was a battle, juggling 2 jobs while nurturing her kids. She hesitated to let her dreams slip away, but the nagging doubt lingered in the back of her mind. At the local diner, the aroma of fresh coffee filled the air as Emily poured her first cup of the day. It brought warmth and comfort, a small joy among the hustle. Just as she wiped the counter, the door swung open with a jingle. In walked Jake, tall and handsome, his presence commanding the room. He had just returned from Silicon Valley, a world of wealth and luxury that felt galaxies away from her small-town life. Their eyes locked, and the world around them faded. Emily felt a tingling spark, one she hadn't felt in ages. Jake's charisma was undeniable, but it was her genuine warmth that pulled him closer. As he sat at the counter, she served him breakfast, a simple plate of pancakes and bacon, but to him, it felt like a feast. They exchanged light banter, and before long, laughter filled the space between them. Each smile shared seemed to draw their hearts closer, like they were the only 2 people in the universe. Yet as their friendship blossomed and grew, Emily was oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. The feeling swept in like a summer breeze, refreshing yet unnervingly complex. Jake found himself enchanted by her resilience, her unwavering dedication to family. He craved the simplicity of Emily's life, a life far removed from board meetings and endless parties. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But just when Emily started to lower her walls, she stumbled upon Jake's true identity. The truth hit her like a punch to the gut. He was a billionaire playing a part, seeking a connection he could find in no other way. The walls she had begun to lower crashed down, leaving her feeling inadequate and lost. Could the spark they shared withstand this revelation? Would their worlds, so different yet so close, collapse under the weight of class disparities? With neighbors rallying around her, Emily felt their support like a warm embrace. People saw her struggle, and they admired her strength. Meanwhile, Jake grappled with guilt, realizing what he had lost through deceit. Before he left town, he got a jolt of reality when crisis struck, each moment tugging at his heartstrings. Caught between aiding Emily and escaping his privileged life, he faced a defining choice. Could he prove his worth beyond wealth? Emily's heart, fragile yet bold, swelled with questions and emotions she didn't understand. As the town united, so too did her feelings for Jake. Could love bloom in the face of betrayal? Or would she be forced to let go of the only semblance of happiness she had found in years? Their journeys were colliding, but where would they land? Emily stood in the kitchen, the sunlight pouring in, but she felt a shadow creeping over her heart. The laughter of her children outside was a stark contrast to the turmoil inside her. The more she thought about Jake, the more her mind spiraled. Did he ever really care? Or was she just part of some game he was playing? The thought made her stomach churn. She had just started to believe that maybe, just maybe, something beautiful could grow between them. But that one truth about his wealth and hidden identity felt like a cold wind snuffing out the spark they had shared. Emily shook her head, trying to dismiss the thoughts, but they clung to her like wet clothes. After the kids settled down for their nap, she paced the living room, her mind racing. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a text from Jake. "Can we talk? It's important." Her heart raced at the message. Part of her wanted to ignore it, to protect herself from the waves of hurt that threatened to crash over her again. But another part, one fueled by hope and curiosity, urged her to respond. "Okay. Where?" She typed back, her fingers trembling. As she hit send, she felt a wave of anxiety wash over her. The diner was where it all began, and Emily decided to meet him there. The nostalgic aroma of the coffee, the gentle clatter of silverware, and the familiar faces of the regulars were comforting even now, but the mood felt different this time. She sat at their usual booth, tapping her fingers nervously on the table. When Jake walked in, his eyes searched for her, filled with an intensity that made her heart flutter. He looked different, too, his signature smile replaced by a serious expression that matched the weight of the conversation ahead. "Hey," he said softly as he slid into the booth across from her. He looked at her as if seeing her for the first time, and despite the hurt she felt, a flicker of longing bloomed within her. "Jake, I don't know what to say," she began, heart pounding. "You should have been honest with me." "I know," he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck, a sign of his guilt. "But I was scared of losing what we had. I wanted to just be me with you. Not the billionaire everyone else sees." "But it was all built on a lie," she replied, feeling the tears well up. "How can we move forward from that?" "Let me show you," he said, his voice steady, but his eyes betrayed an emotion tangled in desperation. "I want to prove to you that I can be more than my name. That I want to be with you, and I care about you and your kids. I get it if you can't trust me right now. But I need you to know I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make this right." She studied his face, searching for any hint of deceit, but all she saw was sincerity. A wave of emotions crashed inside her. She wanted to believe him but felt the heavy chains of doubt pulling her down. "Can you really do that?" she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. He took her hands in his touch sending a spark through her. "I can. Just give me a chance to show you who I really am." Emily's mind was racing. Could she take that leap of faith again? Would it even be worth it? The tension in the air was thick enough to cut. As they locked eyes, she felt a sense of danger whispering in the back of her mind. Was she ready to enter this unpredictable journey, one that could either bring them closer or tear them apart for good? The air grew heavy as the gravity of their choices settled in. Would she step forward into the unknown, torn between fear and the chance for love? Or would that spark fizzle out, leaving her alone in the dark? The decision awaited her, but the true challenge was just beginning. Emily took a deep breath, the weight of Jake's gaze anchoring her in that moment. The world faded away, all that mattered was the man in front of her and the promise lingering in the air. "Okay," she said finally, her heart pounding in her chest. "I'll give you a chance. But this isn't just about you. There are my kids to think about too." She hoped her voice didn't betray the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Jake nodded slowly, a look of relief washing over his face. "I understand completely. I want to earn your trust, not just with words but with actions. I want to be a part of your life in every way." His resolve melted some of the ice around her heart, but an echo of doubt still clung to her thoughts. Were his intentions genuine? Or was this just another rich kid's game, aiming to play savior? They continued talking, the conversation shifting between casual updates about their lives and deeper discussions about trust. Each laugh shared seemed to chip away at her unease, but moments of silence hung in the air, heavy with unspoken questions. "I'm not perfect," Jake admitted after a quiet pause. "I've made mistakes. But the way I feel about you is real, Emily. I've never felt this way before." His fingers tightened around hers as if solidifying his promise before her. The diner filled with familiar sounds, but all Emily could hear was the rapid beat of her heart. Did she truly believe he could change? Then she remembered the situation back home, the way her kids had reacted to his presence the last time they met. What if they don't like you? What if they don't accept this new version of you? "They will," he replied, his confidence unwavering. I want to meet them. Show them who I am. I want to prove to you both that I care. Emily felt the weight of his words, pushing against the wall she had steadily built around her heart. It made perfect sense, this desire to expose all sides of himself. But the risk, it loomed over her like a dark cloud. Tell me something, she said, looking him straight in the eye. What if I give you this chance, and you mess it up? I can't let my kids go through that hurt. Jake leaned in closer, his eyes intense. I promise you, that won't happen. I'm willing to be vulnerable for you and them. I'll do whatever it takes. Just try me. A warmth spread through her, both terrifying and exhilarating. What would it mean to embrace this new chapter? Would she be opening the door to something beautiful or pushing against a storm? As they continued talking, a flicker of hope kindled deep within her. There was something about Jake's earnestness that drew her in. She wanted to believe him. But could she really take that leap? The thought of jumping back into the waters of love had both her heart racing and her stomach churning. Are you ready for this? She asked him, feeling the intensity of the moment. Ready to meet my kids? His smile was infectious. Absolutely. Just give me the signal, and I'll dive in head first. And there it was, the invitation to something new. But the fear lingered just beneath the surface. As they left the diner, the golden sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over everything. It felt like a promise, but shadows from her past still loomed close behind. Let us take it one step at a time, okay? She whispered, uncertain yet determined. Agreed, Jake replied. No rush. Just trust the process. But as they parted ways, a chilling thought gripped her. Was she truly ready for the tidal wave of change he would bring? Or was she just setting herself up for another fall? With each step, she felt the weight of the future pressing on her shoulders. Would she find the courage to embrace what lay ahead? Or would fear keep her trapped in the past? Behind her, the diner faded into the distance. Emily found herself standing at a crossroads, the scent of hope mingling with the sting of doubt. Life was about to change, whether she was ready or not. The question was, how would she navigate the unpredictable journey ahead? Emily returned home that evening, the echoes of their conversation swirling in her mind. The house was quiet, aside from the soft hum of the refrigerator and the faint sound of the TV flickering in the background. She padded into the living room, where her kids were sprawled out on the couch, lost in a cartoon. A part of her felt comforted by the normalcy of it all, but another part, the part that had just walked away from the possibility of something new, felt restless. Moments later, her 7-year-old daughter, Mia, looked up and smiled. Mommy. You're back. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with joy, and Emily felt her heart swell. Hey, sweetheart, Emily replied, squatting down to pull her into a hug. Did you have a good day? Mia nodded, but then the girl's expression shifted, a hint of curiosity crossing her face. Were you out with Jake again? Emily stiffened. The last thing she wanted was to expose her kids to the complexities of adult relationships before she was sure herself. A little bit. We talked about things. Things about what? Ian, her older son, asked from the other end of the couch, eyeing her with skepticism. At 12, he was protective of his mother. Is he coming back? I don't know, she answered honestly. Maybe. But we will take our time, okay? I want you two to feel comfortable. Ian crossed his arms. First he showed up, and now he's what? Dating you? His tone was cautious. Not dating, Emily said quickly. Just getting to know each other, okay? Mia bounced with excitement, her enthusiasm bubbling over. I think he's nice. Emily chuckled softly, but the laughter felt strained. It was easier to maintain a light air in front of her children than face the guilt clustering inside her. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of dinner prep and playful banter, Emily losing herself in the comfort of her family. Yet, as the kids drifted off to bed, her thoughts returned to Jake. Could she really let him into their lives, into this sacred space? Each meeting brought vulnerability, but also sparked feelings she thought long lost. She wandered to her bedroom, feeling her heart in conflict. Just as she settled into her thoughts, her phone buzzed. Jake's name lit up the screen. "Hey, Emily. Just checking in. Hope you're home safe. I can't wait to meet your kids when you're ready." Her stomach twisted. There was a sweet earnestness to his message, yet it filled her with uncertainty. She typed back a quick reply, "Thanks. I'm home. Kids are good." After sending it, she sat back against the headboard, contemplating how different life could be if she took this step. As she lay there, staring at the ceiling, her heart fluttered. The echoes of their earlier conversation replayed in her mind, the promises, the dreams, the lingering doubt. And then came the thought that had circled there since the moment she met him: what if he really was different? What if he truly cared? But just as quickly as hope surged, fear pushed back. What if he broke her heart? What if the kids got hurt? She clenched her jaw against the internal battle. Exhaustion finally took hold, and she drifted off to sleep with her phone clutched in her hand. Later, in the dark of night, her dreams flickered between images of laughter and warmth with Jake, and heart-wrenching scenes of loss and disappointment. In the morning, Emily woke with a sense of dread and resolve battling inside her. Life was full of choices, and today she would face hers head-on. As she sipped her coffee, her gaze fell onto the empty seat across the table, a reminder that change was on the horizon, waiting patiently. Could she merge her family's world with Jake's? Only time would tell if she could stitch together the fabric of past and future without unraveling the threads of her heart. But there was one thing clear: she was ready to find out. With renewed determination, she picked up her phone and glanced at Jake's message. "Let us meet tomorrow. There's something important I want to discuss." The heart raced anew as she hit send. What would it mean for all of them? Emily paced the kitchen, her mind racing. The sun poured through the window, illuminating the small breakfast table where the warmth of yesterday's conversations flickered like the morning light. She poured herself another cup of coffee, trying to steady the anticipation dancing in her chest. What was this important thing Jake wanted to discuss? It could be anything from a light-hearted date to a serious decision about their futures. Mia trotted into the kitchen, hair tousled and eyes still half-closed. "Morning, Mom." She beamed, plopping herself down at the table, her innocence a refreshing balm for Emily's worries. "Good morning, sweetheart. How did you sleep?" Emily's heart warmed at the sight of her daughter. She brushed a stray hair from Mia's face, feeling the enormity of her choices settle heavy on her shoulders. "Like a rock. I dreamt I was a princess." Mia giggled, and Emily couldn't help but smile back. "That sounds magical. What did your kingdom look like?" she asked, leaning against the counter, fully present in the moment. "It had sparkly trees and rainbow rivers," Mia exclaimed, gesturing animatedly with her tiny hands. "And I had a dragon who breathed candy." Emily laughed, her own worries momentarily forgotten. But as she poured a bowl of cereal, the sweet innocence of childhood was tinged with the worries she bore. Every sparkly dream flooded back to relentless questions: could she trust Jake? Would he embrace their family? Could there be real happiness for them, or were they all destined for heartbreak? Ian thudded into the kitchen, eyes droopy and hair sticking up. "Ugh, what's for breakfast?" he muttered. "Cereal or toast?" "Your choice," Emily replied, her voice easy, trying to maintain the calm atmosphere. "Cereal." He rubbed his eyes and sank into a chair beside Mia. Despite his gruff demeanor, she took comfort in their little morning routine, the mundane happiness they shared reinforcing her resolve. Later that morning, Emily found herself at her desk, the clock ticking away until her meeting with Jake. She absent-mindedly doodled hearts on a notepad, each stroke taunted her with the delicate line she was walking. How could she take this leap? She thought of Jake's eyes, their spark of kindness and mischief, his voice promising understanding. But the darker side of her soul whispered doubts, reminding her of all the times she'd faced rejection, all the heartbreak shared in silence after the kids went to bed. When the clock struck 11, Emily stood up abruptly, nerves making her heart race. Should she wear something different? Something casual, yet inviting? She rifled through her closet, finally settling on a comfy sweater that hugged in all the right places and a pair of jeans that felt just right. As she glanced in the mirror, a brief wave of confidence washed over her. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. "It's just a conversation." The outside world greeted her with a bright blue sky, but it felt heavy with expectations. Her car ride felt endless, each passing moment echoed her doubts. When she finally arrived at the cafe, her heart sped up, every beat whispering what if? As she stepped inside, Jake was already there, sitting at a small table, a nervous smile gracing his features. He looked up as she entered, eyes brightening. "Hey," he said, standing up. Emily could see the slight tremor in his hands, the way he tried to mask his own uncertainty. "Hi." She waved, her heart thumping soundly. "Thanks for coming." Jake gestured to the chair opposite him. "I really wanted to talk." The air hung thick between them, a magical tension that held both promise and dread. Emily knew this moment could change everything. Yet, as she took her seat, her breath quickened, uncertainty looming like a storm cloud overhead. What would his news bring? Would she be ready for whatever came next? As their eyes locked, she felt a rush of resolve, but shadows of doubt still lingered. She was ready for the truth. But the question echoed in her mind, what truth would that be? Jake took a deep breath, the air thick with unspoken words. With a gentle smile that shook off his nerves, he asked, "How have you been?" Emily smiled, but it felt like a thin veil over her racing heart. "Busy, like always. The kids keep me on my toes." She searched his face, hoping for a glimpse of what was to come, but all she saw was warmth mingled with hesitation. "I can only imagine," he said. "You're amazing with them." The compliment washed over her, but her stomach twisted. What if that wasn't enough? What if she wasn't enough? Jake leaned in, his voice lowered, almost conspiratorial. "I've been thinking about something, about us. And I wanted to share it with you today." Emily's heart skipped. "Us?" she echoed, almost breathless. What did that mean? She had dreamed of this moment, the two of them finding a path together, but the weight of possibility felt heavier than she anticipated. "Yeah," he continued, scratching the back of his neck nervously. "I know we've only been getting to know each other better, but I feel this connection, this spark. I can't shake the feeling that we could be more than friends." Her breath caught. Did Jake really see it too? But then the fears flashed in her mind like a wrecking ball. What would the kids think? Could she allow herself to be vulnerable again? I think I feel it too," but she hesitated, words slipping away from her grasp. "I'm worried about moving too fast. About how it could affect the kids." He nodded, understanding etched on his face. "I get that. It's a big step. But I want you to know that I'm ready for it, Emily. I care about your family. I care about you." His sincerity tugged at her heart. The storm of uncertainty began to calm just a bit, but a wave of doubt followed. "Jake, what if this ends up being a mistake? What if it affects Mia and Ian negatively?" He held her gaze, determination shining in his eyes. "Life is full of risks. We can't let fear dictate our paths. I want to take this risk with you. Together." "Together," she echoed, the word hanging in the air like a promise. But was it a promise she could keep? Before she could respond, the cafe door swung open and a gust of chilly air swept in. An older couple entered, laughing and beaming at one another. They looked so at ease, so in love. Emily's heart squeezed when she thought of how she once felt that way, before everything went awry. Could she ever experience that again? Jake's voice pulled her back. You don't have to decide right now. Just promise me you'll consider it. She wanted to say yes. Her heart shouted yes. But her mind dragged its feet, climbing the wall of fear built over years of disappointments. I will think about it. I promise. The tension eased between them, but uncertainty remained. They chatted about lighter subjects: work, the kids, the quirky cafe atmosphere, but the heaviness of their earlier discussion lingered. Emily stole glances at Jake, each time her heart a little more hopeful. As they finished their drinks, Jake leaned across the table, a mischievous glimmer dancing in his eyes. Hey, what if we could find a way to mix those rainbows and sparkly trees from Mia's dreams into our reality? His words made her laugh, a sound that felt both new and familiar at the same time. You mean, like a parenting partnership? Exactly. An adventure. And if we can do it well, who knows where this might lead? As Emily contemplated his playful tone, she felt the longing crack even her hardest shell. Could life really take them somewhere beyond their current realities? A realm that felt like Mia's fairy kingdom? Jake reached for her hand, warmth spreading through her as he squeezed it gently. Emily, whatever you decide, I'm here. Just know you're not alone in this. You never were. Those words sent a rush of comfort and hope through her, but as she sat there, looking into the depths of his earnest eyes, she felt another wave of doubt crashing down. Was she strong enough to pursue this path? Or was she destined to retreat back into the comfort of her routine, keeping her heart safe but unfulfilled? As the cafe buzzed around them, Emily caught sight of the world outside, the ordinary chaos of lives intertwining. I need to think, she finally said, each word steeped in hesitance and resolve. Jake nodded slowly, his demeanor both relieved and understanding. We can figure this out together whenever you're ready. But as Emily left the cafe and stepped back into the bright sunlight, a quiet voice whispered inside her, what would it truly mean to embrace the unknown? And in that moment, she knew she was standing at a crossroads where love and fear met. Would she be brave enough to take a step forward into a world where new dreams awaited her? As the sunlight enveloped Emily, she felt both exhilarated and terrified by the possibilities before her. The laughter of children floated by, pulling her thoughts back to Mia and Ian. Their little faces sparkled with joy while they shared adventures in their pretend worlds. They deserved a mother who was happy, someone who felt fulfilled. But the thought of opening herself up again felt like standing at the edge of a vast, unpredictable ocean. She walked down the street, each step heavy with consideration. The flavors of the cafe lingered on her tongue, a warm reminder of Jake's presence. He had a knack for pushing through her walls, urging her to explore the depths of her emotions. Yet, as her heels clicked against the pavement, the shadow of doubt loomed larger. Would her longing for connection disrupt their already delicate family balance? Entering her home was like crossing from one world into another. The door creaked open, revealing a cozy chaos, toys scattered on the floor, colorful drawings clinging to the refrigerator, and the faint scent of pizza lingering in the air. She had built a life filled with little moments that mattered, but twinges of loneliness crept back in when she thought about sharing them with someone special. Mama! Look what I made! Mia bounded up to her, a lopsided paper crown perched atop her head. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, an infectious joy that twisted Emily's heart. That's beautiful, sweet pea, Emily said, kneeling down to admire her daughter's handiwork. For a moment, all doubts faded, replaced by the pure love she felt for Mia and Ian. They were her world. But was she being selfish in exploring her own happiness? Ian, his little whirlwind of energy, stumbled into the room, clutching a toy car. Can you come watch me race? he chimed, his voice full of enthusiasm. Of course. Just give me a second, she replied with a smile, as warmth began noonies inside her. She joined them, laughter bubbling up as they played. Each giggle was a thread, weaving them together in the rich tapestry of their family life. But as the evening wore on and the children drifted off to sleep, the echoes of her earlier conversation with Jake lingered. She settled in her favorite chair, the weight of the evening pressing down, and tapped her fingers nervously. Could she really consider letting him in? The idea of sharing her life with someone again filled her with both hope and dread. That night, sleep came reluctantly. Thoughts of what Jake had said, the dreams of merging their families, of building a new adventure, twisted and turned like a restless tide. Deep down, a sliver of excitement bubbled beneath her fears. Maybe Jake's presence wouldn't break what she had built, maybe it could enhance it. Determined not to close her heart completely, she pulled out a notebook. One by one, she jotted down her feelings, her worries, and her wishes. Each word felt like a small step toward clarity. What do I want? She whispered, a question bouncing off the walls of her room. The next morning, Emily woke energized, the sun streaming through her window as if announcing a new beginning. She felt lighter as she prepared breakfast for Mia and Ian, their laughter a balm to her soul. Yet, a new thought simmered beneath the surface. What would happen the next time she saw Jake? Could she voice her fears? Share her dreams? Perhaps today would mark the beginning of everything changing, the universe aligning in unexpected ways. As she cleaned up after breakfast, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from Jake. Are we still on for tonight? I can't wait to see you again. Emily hesitated, her heart racing. This was the moment the possibilities could unfold. She could invite him into her world, share in the joy and chaos of her life. But would she be ready to embrace the fear along with it? Taking a deep breath, she began to type, the words flowing with anticipation and hope. What would it mean to truly open her heart? And as she pressed send, a fluttering between fear and excitement bloomed in her chest. Tonight, they would reconnect, but what truths would reveal themselves in the light of day? Who would she truly be when faced with the man who held her heart in his hands? Emily spent the rest of the day occupied, but her mind kept drifting back to Jake. She found herself daydreaming while cleaning, the familiar sights of her home blending with memories of their laughter, the warmth of shared stories. As the clock ticked closer to their meeting, anticipation churned in her stomach. After tucking the kids into bed, she took a moment to stare at their peaceful faces. They were her anchors, her priority. The thought of Jake made her pulse quicken, though. Was she ready to pull back the curtains and let someone new step into her life? She slipped into a blue dress that hugged her curves. Looking in the mirror, she couldn't help but think of how a small part of her wanted to feel pretty, wanted to feel desired again. Would this be just a night out or something more? She pushed those thoughts aside, not wanting to overthink what this night could bring. The doorbell rang, jolting her from her thoughts. Before she could lose her nerve, she opened the door. Jake stood there, a reassuring smile lighting up his features. He looked genuinely excited to see her, and that smile made her heart flutter against her ribcage. Wow, you look stunning, he said, his eyes dancing with admiration. Thanks, she replied, a blush rising to her cheeks. The connection felt electric, and she took a step back to invite him in. They chatted like old friends, easy and flowing. He tucked his hands in his pockets, his relaxed posture easing her worries. How was the day with the kids? He asked, genuinely interested. Emily smiled, recounting stories of their creative projects, the paper crown Mia made and the epic car races Ian held on the living room floor. But as she shared, she felt a gravity pull her conversation deeper. With each word, it opened the door just a little wider to her world. You sound like such a fun mom, he said, leaning forward, his eyes scanning hers. I can only imagine the chaos in your home. It is, but it's also beautiful chaos, she admitted, her heart starting to align with the excitement of the evening. She could see him genuinely appreciating what she had built. As they made their way to a cozy Italian restaurant, the city lights twinkled like stars. Emily drank in the atmosphere, the laughter and chatter drifting past her as if it were introducing her to a new adventure. This felt different, richer somehow. Over plates of pasta, they spoke of dreams and fears, of past disappointments and future hopes. For the first time in a long while, Emily found herself sharing her ambitions. She spoke of wanting to write again, to let the stories flow from her heart onto paper. Jake listened intently, his chin resting on his hand, completely focused. "You should do it, Emily," he encouraged, his voice warm. "You have a voice that deserves to be heard." His sincerity washed over her like a gentle wave, and the connection deepened. It's in moments like these that the tension ebbed, and Emily felt seen in a way she hadn't been in years. But with every honest exchange, disbelief began to creep in. Could she really entertain the idea of him being a part of her world? After dinner, they walked through the quiet streets, the moon glowing above them. She noticed how his hand seemed to inch closer to hers, as if silently asking for permission. Goosebumps prickled her skin at the thought, her body quietly responding. "Emily," he said, halting suddenly. "I know it's only been a few weeks since we've met, but I can't shake the feeling that there's something real here between us." His words hung in the air, filled with hope and vulnerability. Her heart raced, somewhere between excitement and the fear of what this could mean. If she took a leap, could she bear the fall? She met his gaze, searching for certainty, but all she found was an invitation. Could she be brave enough to trust this wild new journey? As he leaned in slightly, the question loomed like a note hanging in the air, waiting for an answer. Would she let love rewrite her story, or was she still too hesitant to open that door? Jake stepped closer, his breath a soft whisper in the night. Emily felt her pulse quicken, every nerve in her body alive with anticipation. This was the moment. She could either retreat into the familiar embrace of caution or step bravely into the unknown, where possibility awaited. "Are you okay?" Jake asked, his eyes searching hers, the sincerity of his question warming her soul. It was a simple inquiry, yet it held weight. He wasn't just asking about her well-being, he was inviting her to share her inner turmoil. Emily hesitated, the fear of vulnerability pressing against her chest. She wanted to trust him, to let him in. But could she? She swallowed hard, the words ready on her tongue. "I've been so focused on the kids that I forgot how to let someone else in," she finally admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Jake nodded, as if he understood the struggle she faced. "It's okay to feel scared. It means you care," he replied, reaching for her hand and finally intertwining his fingers with hers. The touch sent warmth flooding through her, igniting a spark of courage she hadn't known she had. The connection was undeniable. Standing beneath the watchful gaze of the moon, Emily felt the weight of her worries shift. She knew she wasn't just standing at the edge of a cliff, she was on the cusp of a beautiful plunge into something new and thrilling. "What if this doesn't work out?" she asked, her voice trembling with the fear of heartbreak. Jake squeezed her hand. "What if it does? I don't have all the answers, Emily, but what I do know is that my life got a lot brighter since you walked into it." His words wrapped around her heart like a warm blanket, and for the first time in years, her spirit felt lighter. She realized she had been holding herself back, guarding her heart too fiercely. With a shaky breath, she nodded. The invitation had been extended, and she was finally ready to accept it. "Okay," she said softly. "Let us see where this goes." In that moment, it felt like a door had swung wide open. As they began to walk again, fingers still intertwined, laughter bubbled up between them, easy and genuine. The tension that had once coiled tightly within her began to dissipate. With every shared smile and playful banter, she felt the walls she had built start to crumble. "Have you ever been to the lake at sunrise?" he asked, his voice turning playful and light. She shook her head, intrigued. You have to experience it. It's breathtaking. I can't wait to show you. Maybe we can make that the next adventure, she replied, her heart swelling at the thought of future mornings shared with him. As they approached a small park, Jake stopped again. I know we are rushing things, but there is something about you I feel connected in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. He stepped closer, his hand still holding hers. Emily could see the hope and sincerity in his eyes again. I want to explore this. I want to really get to know you. I want that too, she admitted, feeling both vulnerable and empowered. The tension shifted once more as they drew closer, the chemistry crackling in the air. Just as she thought he might lean in for a kiss, he paused. Are you sure? Because once we cross that line, there's no going back, Jake said, his voice serious yet tender. Emily's stomach fluttered nervously. Did she want to cross that line? Could she let go of her fears and take this leap of faith? Maybe not going back is exactly what I need, she whispered, closing her eyes as she took the plunge. Her heart raced as he moved in, a blend of excitement and dread coursing through her. She felt the warmth of his presence before their lips met, igniting a spark that felt like coming home. But as they pulled away, their moment of bliss was interrupted by a sudden rustling in the bushes nearby. Emily's heart dropped. What had they stumbled into? Her gaze darted over toward the sound, an urgency building within her. Had they been seen? Or was there something more waiting in the shadows, ready to challenge the new path she had just begun to explore? The bushes rustled again, and Emily's heart raced, uncertain of what would emerge. She instantly pulled away, looking toward the commotion. Her mind swirled. Was it a stray animal, a fellow park-goer, or perhaps a reminder that her moments of happiness often came with unexpected complications? Jake's expression mirrored her concern as he scanned their surroundings. It's probably just a raccoon or something, he said, but his voice was laced with hesitation. Emily forced a laugh. Nature had its way of throwing bumps into the smooth road she had hoped to travel. But the rustling continued, revealing a small child who bounded out, giggling and scanning the park for a partner in play. Relief washed over her. It was just a little boy, wearing a bright red cape, lost in his own world. His laughter felt infectious, breaking the tension. They exchanged glances, and Emily couldn't help but smile. Looks like we weren't the only ones seeking adventure tonight, Jake said, his eyes twinkling. The moment felt soft again, the shadows retreating as they returned to a light-hearted space. Do you think he is a superhero? Emily asked, eyes sparkling, playing along with the innocent fun. Almost instinctively, she linked her arm with Jake's, the natural closeness easing her mind even further. Definitely. And I'm guessing everyone here is his sidekick, Jake replied, chuckling. It felt as though they had transported back to childhood, where every moment was colored with joy and possibility. As they shared in laughter, Emily realized that a kid's adventure was much like the journey she was on, a leap into the unknown. Her heart warmed, igniting the courage needed to claim her own happiness. Speaking of superheroes, what if I told you I need you to help me deal with my villains at home? She mused, teasingly, knowing the kids would always keep her on her toes. I'm ready for that challenge, Jake said with a grin. We'll blend our families into an unstoppable team. Her stomach fluttered again, excitement bubbling at the thought of blending their worlds. In that moment, beneath the stars, hope ignited within her, the kind that only comes from allowing someone in. They continued to stroll, exchanging stories about their childhood, their ambitions, and their hopes. Jake spoke of starting charities aimed at helping single parents, his passion evident in his voice. With every word, she felt herself drawn further into his story, each detail painting a beautiful picture of the man he was. A sense of calm enveloped her as they wandered past small groups mingling on benches and dogs chasing each other in a game of tag. But the focus shifted back to them, two individuals becoming more with every shared moment. Emily, Jake said softly, pulling her closer, I know this is all new and a little daunting. But promise me if you feel uncertain, if you have doubts, let us talk. Together, we can face anything. She stopped in her tracks, heart pounding, his words striking a chord deep within. Vulnerability flooded her, and she nodded firmly. I promise. I need that. Jake smiled, looking relieved. I'm in this for the long haul, Emily. Wherever it leads, we'll navigate it together. Each step forward felt like they started weaving their story together, a tale laced with bravery against uncertainty. The laughter of that little boy echoed in her mind, a reminder that adventures often begin with a leap of faith. As the night began to fade into the early dawn, Emily took a deep breath, aligning herself with the possibilities. Perhaps now was the time to embrace not just this venture into love but also the merging of their lives. Let us plan that trip to see the sunrise at the lake, she suggested, filled with newfound hope. That sounds perfect, Jake replied, excitement lighting up his features. And who knows? It could be the start of a new adventure for all of us. Emily grinned, feeling a warmth engulf her, a promise of endless opportunities. She viewed their budding relationship not just as a romantic endeavor, but as a chance to create a solid foundation for their families. And as they walked toward her car, hands intertwined, she felt lighter than she had in years. With the first rays of light peeking over the horizon, she realized that she was finally ready to embrace whatever came next. A journey spurred on by trust, hope, and the willingness to merge both their lives into something extraordinary. Here's to new beginnings, with more adventures to come, she whispered, squeezing Jake's hand. Absolutely, he replied, his eyes sparkling with understanding. No longer did fear grip her heart. Instead, the pull of love promised to overcome the obstacles laying ahead. The tides of change welcomed them, and as they stood together under the dawn's glow, she felt a spark flare, one capable of igniting an amazing transformation for them all. Now, life was ready to unfurl before her in vibrant colors, and she was prepared to dive in. As Emily embraced Jake, a warmth flooded her heart, and a feeling of promise settled deep within. It was time for everyone to witness how love could reshape their lives in beautiful ways. And as she drove home, the laughter of her children echoed with every turn of the wheel. Yes, she was ready for this. She was ready for more. And so, dear friends, if you felt this journey, if you believe in love and hope, now is the moment to support this channel. Subscribe immediately to catch every exclusive story as it unfolds. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm so we can share more heartwarming tales. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, let us hear your voice. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this incredible journey of love and transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the power of connection.